Hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of the Real Estate Show, the number one episode of the Real Estate Show featured in 2022. Amazing to say, here we are. We crossed the line and started the brand new year, and it is off to a roaring start. How was your weekend this weekend? Have a good weekend out there. Hopefully you had a safe one, COVID-free, and probably free of all the other things that could have happened, hopefully didn't. And hopefully you started off the year. We had a string of sort of wrapping up the year celebrations. I mean, since Christmas, it just seems like it was nonstop, 100% go, go, go the whole entire time. And now then we had not only to start things off fast, literally after a great New Year's Eve, which we went way out in horse country, out in Lachi, and had fireworks, and it was a real neat kind of a private event, but still a chance to get together with close friends, camping out out there, and then followed literally the next day. And this is what I mean by we started off running a wedding. January 1st wedding. How's that for starting off the new year? Particularly for the bride and the groom. Can you imagine? I mean, how do you top anything the rest of the year when you had the day of your life on January 1st? And I told them, by the way, you have no excuse. You can never ever forget your anniversary now. And how about that? They have every year they're going to have fireworks and parties, for to remind you of your anniversary. So speaking about all that, and then finally here we are, Monday, January 3rd, 2022, and just literally the phone lit up from the beginning of the day. People are ready to get going, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Every week we start the week off with our Mondays on a mission. And it was amazing to see the different reports, for example. And I'll tell you, here are just some of the headlines that we'll dive into later on in the week. But here's kind of interesting about here. Palm Beach County, Broward County, Dade County. Here, St. Lucie County housing market heats up as the median sale price increases. Right next to it, Martin County housing market heats up as the sale price increases. And for the different reports, Palm Beach housing market heats up as median home sales heat up. Broward. Now this one's going to be an interesting one later on this week. We'll talk one because this, and the phones are verifying that this is true. Survey. Sellers waiting out the pandemic are ready to list in the new year. And I'll just read you a couple of the first lines. Owners who postponed selling during the pandemic, perhaps waiting for a sign that price increases were slowing, list their home within the next 6 months. Many, however, plan to overprice it, and they expect bidding wars to push the final price even higher. So are you ready to crush your real estate goals in 2022? It isn't going to be by accident. It is going to take a concentrated, focused, and informed approach to do well. Kind of neat, just a sign of the times and showing you that even the government doesn't believe that we're going to retrench or go backwards anytime soon. The Federal Housing Finance Authority, FHFA, 2022 loan limits 18% higher to $647,000. The cap on conventional and FHA loans will rise notably higher, with caps in a handful of high-cost markets coming close to $1 million. California, obviously. Aerial view of new family houses. And so this is kind of neat. In fact, I already closed that tab, but they were talking about, remember how I was talking about the new housing trends coming up? that there are going to be appraisers and appraisals are going to come in faster, more automation in the appraisal process. And who knows? And it's funny. I was going through and cleaning out some files and so forth. And you'll recall I did this back in 2008. I did this again in sort of later in the COVID. And I just want to remind you. And this is kind of funny as a turn of the tables as well. But I used to have this pad, listed with all these jobs that and these are a segment. If you remember, it was called jobs that won't come back. When the COVID stopped and everybody went home and sat home for a little while, waiting to find out what was going to go on. When employment started hiring again, we saw that there was a difference. It wasn't all the same. Back in 2008, and I used to kid around, everything from, what happened to all the toll booths on the Florida Turnpike? They're all gone. So what happened to all the toll booth operators? You remember the people with the really cool, fancy beach shirts, almost like the Hawaiian shirts that the Florida Department of Transportation was lightening up and making kind of cool uniforms. But they're all gone, right? There's no such thing as a live. And so, the old change has changed for the change providers on the Turnpike. We were talking about there's just a transformation, whether it be back in 2008, whether it be in 2020, and even now. But here's where I say that the tables have turned a little bit. The fact of the matter is that not only are the jobs not coming back, but if you've been listening to the show and you've been listening also to some of the commentators talking about the Great Resignation, I think a week or two ago, we talked about that here on our show, talking about how that's even come to teachers across the country who don't want to get stuck in a closed classroom wearing a mask all day and in a confined classroom. The environment has changed so much, and the concern for safety has changed so much that what we need the most, which are the great teachers, a lot of them ain't coming back. And so it's kind of interesting. We've seen this from way back when when was the last time you saw a full service gas station with somebody that would come out, fill your gas tank while cleaning your windshield and so forth? In some of the other countries, they still have cashiers on the bus making change and allowing you to pay on the bus. And one of my favorite stories with that was when I was trying to get rid of some filing cabinets, right? Filing cabinets. Who has filing cabinets anymore? And these are great, expensive Han, with the kind of the rollers that come out so that the back of the filing cabinet comes all the way out, so you don't lose half the filing cabinet because you can't really get to it. With locks, fireproof, and the whole 9 yards. Back in the day, it would cost over $1,000 for a filing cabinet. I couldn't give them away, and I thought maybe some of my old hacks in the mortgage business would like them because they had some legal filing cabinets. Well, so if the filing cabinets are gone, the people who make the filing cabinets jobs are gone. The people who sell the filing cabinets are gone, and again, those jobs ain't coming back. But I guess for some jobs that still are there, the employees ain't coming back. So here's the bottom line. Let's get into this new year that we're talking about here, and let's start gearing up, because if you really want to have success in anything, but in real estate in particular, I had an old client of mine call me this morning, and he said, "Eric, do you think, what do you think's going on with the market?" Right. And I says, the old story, I don't have a crystal ball, but he goes, he had an investor call him telling him that he should sell right now, right before, the market is inflated and is going to crash. And he said, so I'm not seeing it. Tell me, what do you think? And I said, listen, I can't predict the future. I can't predict what's going to happen, and who knows, they're in this today topsy-turvy crazy world with any fight against world powers or sudden new outbreak of some new mutation. Who knows what could happen? But barring something, what I would call catastrophic, 2022 is going to be another version of 2021 with increasing real estate prices, now with increasing interest rates as well. You're going to see the demand continue to increase. The employment rate is increasing, but so is the self-employment rate. And who was the last person that announced that? So it is the expert out there that will do well. And you have two choices. And they're not mutually exclusive, but the expert. And I think that you should become somewhat of an expert. But if it's not your full-time gig, if it's not your full-time goal to be 100% all day long in the real estate market immersed like we are, then what you want to do is you want to align yourself with an expert in the real estate market who is fully immersed in the market, who is 100% involved and invested in the marketplace. And that's what we're here. And that's why this radio show here been here live on the air talking about what we're doing market. And we want to invite you along for another journey, another year. And certainly this radio show, if you take day, Mondays are Mondays on a mission. We go into definition, we go into concepts, we go into trends, so that you week. Tuesdays, we get into our tools, tips, and techniques. Now, in our tools, tips, and techniques, we actually get into the actual doing of real estate, whether we talk about a specific software, a specific technique, or just something that you ought to be paying attention to. And if you want to really learn this business, you should replicate what we're doing because it's what's working out there in the marketplace. If not, come along for the ride. Hop on our back, use our coattails, and let's invest together. Then on Wednesdays, we have our midweek report. And you're going to see a couple subtle changes. We're going to bring more financing into the picture. So it'll be our midweek mortgage report. We'll be talking about the rates, the trends. Today, there was another increase. We have a hotline. My phone rings when the market rates are going up. I get a phone call when the bonds are shifting, which comes ahead of the lenders repricing their mortgages. So it's a good idea to be listening here to the Real Estate Show. And we're not going to talk about every micro move in the market, but we are going to talk about the trends and what it takes. Another gentleman today called us on our, he had lost the phone number for the Real Estate Show and happened to find it after months and months and months. And again, talking about the conversation, should I wait to save up more money for a down payment? You think he's ready on the credit side, he thinks he's ready on the income side, but he's not ready for the down payment? I said, absolutely not. Remember, we talk about it. If you need down payment money, remember, we got our upcoming Fearless First Time Home Buyers Workshop on January 11th, 7 p.m. We want to invite you to come to it for free. Now, remember, it is space limited. It is online, so our bandwidth is limited on what we can hold in that virtual room. So you must, in order to reserve your spot, text the letters DPA, Down Payment Assistance. Text DPA to 561-861-2366. Once again, I'm going to say that number is 561-861-2366. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Here are a few words from our sponsors. Then I want to talk a little more about what you should be doing, what we're going to be doing, and what maybe we can do together to crush your real estate goals in 2022. So don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Wiilner, and we will be right back. Hey, Felipe. We got Philip and Felipe. How are you guys doing? You guys came in back to back, one after another here up on my screen. So you guys have a good, safe, healthy, happy, entertaining New Year's? We certainly did. And it was funny. I got a text from somebody about the New Year's and how they were saying that the This is an opportunity to erase the chalkboard. Forget about last year. The past does not equal the future. Whatever it was, it was. And I want you guys to be ready for a phenomenal this year. But you got to be active. You got to be proactive. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here, happen to come across the dial and land right here. You're listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. Now in its 23rd consecutive year. That's right, since 1999, going in now, 2022. Who'd thunk that this would have been a 23-year project, that this would have been a continuous effort, a labor of love, if you will, that has now helped many investors transform their lives, perfect their real estate investing, show landlords the automatic landlord way, which we're going to go deep into this year. We got a couple of really neat projects. In fact, speaking about goals, and I said at the beginning of today's program that, if you want to really crush it. In fact, I would love for those of you either on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page, comment below, where are you watching from? Because I want to get an idea. I know that we have folks right now. I know on Facebook we've got someone from California. Go ahead, put that in there. We've got someone from Georgia. Go ahead, put that in there. We've got Florida. Go ahead, put that in there. Because I want people to see, the breadth of this information, how it applies, whether you're in Georgia, you're California, whether you're in New York, Chicago, whether you're in Florida, East Coast to West Coast of Florida. And so if you're looking to make a really big, different change in this year, Felipe, California here, Northern California, in fact. And if you really want to make a change, a dramatic, significant change, make 22 be the year for you. There is absolutely no reason. Interest rates, even though they're ticking up, and today, as I mentioned, there was another sign that they went up again, and they will continue to go up, and that is by the lenders. Remember, there's two types of raises that happen in the market. There are the lenders when they start seeing what the bond market is doing, and so preemptively, before the Fed raises the rates to the banks, they go ahead and raise it. And then when the Feds raise their rates to the banks, they pass that along too. So you're liable to see several federal interest rate changes directly to the banks, but you're going to see several more, of the volatility of the banks and the rates that they offer. And so that can change on a day-to-day basis, even though the Fed probably does that more on a every 60 to 90 quarterly. It depends on when they have their FOMC meetings and what they set on their agenda, but usually it follows one of their meetings. So if you've been trying to buy real estate, like I said, you're going to need to do something a little bit different. You're going to have to look in different places. You saw the headline that I shared with you. I just got into the very surface. We're going to talk about that this week, that there will be more inventory on the market, but that doesn't mean that these are distressed necessarily. There's going to be a lot less distress once the last of the moratoriums. But what have you seen so far? You've seen, I think we said at the time, between 10 and 12 states extended their moratoriums beyond the federal moratorium, which ended back in November, right? October, November. And less than 20%, 10 states, 12 states out of the 50 states extended. Did you see the foreclosure tsunami go by? If it did, I missed it. In fact, and as I told you, when you see the last of the spike and when the lenders begin to get a little bit more aggressive now that the New Year's passed, the holidays are gone, nobody wanted to be seen as the Grinch. you're going to see some more inventory come in there. From the reason I gave you from the headlines, there's going to be sellers that are going to try to sell into the strength, but they're going to be looking for top dollars, and they're going to want to get their top dollar. They're not going to need to sell at the next opportunity. We've been working on a short sale for a long time, and the lender is held very tight onto their number. And you know, the weirdest thing, ultimately, they're getting the market value close, because I'm showing investors understanding that the prices aren't going to retrench. They're not going to slide back like they expected. So if you don't want to be looking at the end of 2022, at the beginning of 2023, looking back, boy, if I'd only known then what I know now, and I would have. Well, here it is, January 3rd, the first Monday of the year, and we're telling you this is a good time to be locking in. Same conversation with the gentleman I said earlier today. He said he's going to be ready in about 4 to 6 months because he didn't have enough down payment. I says, no. Let's get you started. Let's get your application in going now, because we have down payment assistance. We have special programs for first-time home buyers. And the faster than you can save money, properties are going up. Think about it. If you have a $5,000 down payment, you're going to save another 10%. That's another $500. Meanwhile, if and that's if it goes up 10%. If the real estate, the property, the $200,000 property goes up 5%, that's $10,000. There's no way that you're going to keep up and save faster than properties are appreciating, which is why I say, give us a call. Come to our workshop. See what we're talking about. See what we're all about. Now, we've got 2 workshops coming up next week. Number 1, on January 11th, is our Fearless First-Time Homebuyers. And Susanna, Happy New Year. Thank you for posting it. In our Facebook feed, you're going to see text the letter DPA for short down payment assistance. Text DPA to 561-861-2366 to reserve and get your invitation for our free workshop, the Fearless First Time. On the 12th, the day after, it will be our Fearless Investor Workshop. And there you text the word investor to the exact same number, 2 different. It's either DPA as the buyer and investor as the investor. And that's to 561-861-2366. Well, that's it. We are done for today. We have launched our first show, the first episode of 2022, the first of many. Because remember, we are here live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. We're live, but you can get us anytime at our website at automaticlandlord.com. On demand, automaticlandlord.com. Go to the top of the page. If you're there at 5, you can listen to us live. If you're there at any other time, you can listen to our previous recordings, and you can even download the podcast version and take it with you offline. Anyway, that's it for today. This is your host. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Let's crush it together in the real estate market. Tune it in here. Remember, join us exactly how you listen to us, whether on the AM, the FM, the Facebook, the website. It's all going to be good. Thanks again. Drive safe and make it a great year. And that's a wrap. Like I said, the fastest 30 minutes. How was your New Year's? See, don't forget, even if you're listening to this after and you're listening to the rebroadcast, drop a comment in there. I just want to see some of the other places that we're getting played. And let's go ahead and I do it in reverse order here. That's another wrap there.